So, no need wasting time. Let's proceed right away. We're going to start with difference of two squares under algebra. Now, for the difference of two squares, it says if we have a square minus b square, this is sending us writing a minus b, a plus b. Let's take, for example, if you have a question like for us to simplify, and there you have s squared minus 16. Now, to solve a question like this is not a difficult one. All we need to do is to write this one to be like this. So I have this as s squared, 16 is same thing as 4 to the power 2. So now a now is represented by x here, then b represented by 4. And using this formula here, this one becomes x minus 4, x plus what? 4. So this is what is done in difference of two squares. And that is the answer to that question. Like I said, the topic algebra is not what difficult. Follow me closely. At the end of this topic, you will be able to solve any question under algebra. Now take a look at the next one. You have p squared minus 9q squared. It stays similar to this one. What I'll do in this case, we write a p squared. 9 is the same thing as 3 raised to the power 2. Then we have what q was squared. So this one we can write as p squared minus, I group this one, that becomes 3q what squared. So this one is now like this formula here. So apply the simple rule. So this one becomes p minus 3q. Now open the next brackets for addition, p plus what 3 what q. That is the answer to that what question. That's using what the difference of two squares. Let's take a look at example 3. If you have 25a squared minus 16b squared, it's still the same format. All I need to do is to write this one to have what is square. 25 is the same thing as 5 to the power 2. So I have what a squared minus 16 is 4 raised to the power 2. Then we have b squared. 4 raised to the power 2, which means 4 times 4. 4 times 4 will give us 16. 5 raised to the power 2, that is 5 times what 5. 5 times 5 is what 25. So if I group this one, I put the 5 and the a together in a single bracket, then put the 4 and the b together in a single bracket. So now applying this formula here, this one becomes 5a minus 4b brackets 5a plus 4b. This is what is done in what factorization using what the difference of two squares under what algebra. We're going to be looking at a lot of things under algebra, so follow me closely. Number 4, if you have something like 108 minus 3y squared. If you have something like this, if you want to factorize this one using the difference of two squares, the first thing you have to do is to bring out a common factor here. You bring out a common factor, which in this case is 3. The common factor is what both of them can divide without what a remainder, the highest number. So in this case is what 3. If I bring out 3 from here, 108 divided by what 3, that will give us what 30 what 6. And minus 3y squared divided by 3, that will give us what y. So we have what the y was squared. So now we can apply the difference of two squares to this now. So this one gives us 3 into 36 is 6 to the power 2. Then we have y to the power 2. And then Using this formula for difference of two squares, you can then write this as 3 brackets. We have 6 minus y, then 6 plus what? Y. That is the answer to that particular question. It is not something difficult, okay? Everything we're looking at in algebra is not something you cannot do. Just follow me closely and ensure you watch the video to the end, because we're looking at a lot of things under algebra so that you have a full understanding of what you need to do when you have questions under algebra and algebraic expressions, algebraic fractions, and algebraic processes. Let's take a look at example 5. You have to simplify 16 minus 49 brackets a minus b square. Now this one is still the same with what we have been doing so far. So what I need to do is 16, I write it as 4 raised to the power 2. 49 is 7 to the power 2, and I have a minus b squared. So now I'll put this one in a single bracket to avoid what error. So I have 4 squared minus, so I have 7, then a minus b, all raised to the power 2. If you have not watched our series on exponent, you need to look at that, because that's where we have this particular rule from. Exponent part 1 to I think 5. Take a look at that. Okay, you find that in our YouTube channel, Ask the Mathematician 6252. So now from here, apply the difference of two square formula. This is 4 to the power 2. So open the first bracket, we take the 4 minus, then this one now. We have 7 brackets, a minus b. In the next bracket, we have 4 plus. Then we have 7 brackets, a minus what b. So now we can open the brackets now. We open the brackets. This is 4. Okay, let's solve this one inside this bracket first. We have 7 times a, that's 7a, minus 7 what b. So here we get 4 plus, and this one is the same 7a, minus 7 what b. So that this one will give us 4, the minus outside the bracket. This one was plus, because of the minus outside the bracket, this one becomes 7a. The minus times minus here is plus. There we have what 7 would be. We open the next brackets. We have 4 plus. Everything in the bracket remains because we have plus outside what the bracket. So I have 7a minus 7 would be. So that is the answer to that particular question. Now this is how you apply the difference of two squares in solving questions under algebra. Now let's proceed. Let's look at the next thing. We are going into what trinomials. Trinomials. Let's see how we factorize what trinomials. Trinomials. When we talk about trinomials, we are talking about expressions that have what 3 what terms. Expressions with 3 terms, like the quadratic expression. The quadratic expression is a good example of what a trinomial word expression. So now let's see the first example. It says factorize. Factorize. Example 1 now. S squared plus 5x plus 6. Now if you want to factorize this, if you have this kind of trinomial expression, what you do is, the coefficient here is 1. If the coefficient here is 1, and then this last thing here is what 6. So I'll multiply whatever I have here by this last one. In this case, what I have is 1. So 1 times what 6. I have 1 times what 6. and that will give me 6. So I'll look for two numbers that if I multiply them to give me this 6, and when I add, I'll get the middle number. In this case, plus what 5. This one is plus what 6. The two numbers we can use is 2 and what 3. 2 times 3. 2 times 3 will give us what 6. Then 2 plus 3, that will give us what 5. That's positive, positive. So I use that 2 and 3 to split this one. So I'll get what s squared plus 2x plus 3x plus what 6. So the next thing I'll do is to group this. If I group that now, I'll get s squared plus 2x plus, then I have 3x plus what 6. The common factor here is x. I bring out x as a common factor. Now I'll get x plus what 2 plus the common factor is 3. I bring out 3 as a common factor, and then I'll get x plus what 2, because 6 divided by 3 gives us 2. So s plus 2, s plus 2. I'll take 1 s plus 2. I'll open the next bracket, bring this x here, then plus what 3. So the answer becomes s plus 2, x plus what 3. But there's another way of doing this one without having to do the grouping thing. So what I'll do in this case is, since the coefficient of s squared, the coefficient here is 1. Since the coefficient here is 1, what I will just do straight away is, if I look for the two numbers will multiply to give 6 in this case, which is 1 times what 6 giving 6. And when we add, we get what the middle number, which is 5. The two numbers is what 2 and what 3. Since I know it's 2 and 3, we have s squared plus 5x plus what 6. Since I know the two numbers I can use is 2 and 3, I will just open two brackets. I put it 2 and I put what the 3. Bring down the x and then put x here. So I have x plus 2, x plus what 3, and that is the answer to that particular question. This one works if the coefficient here, like in this case, is what 1. If the coefficient is not 1, we have to use this normal format, which we use in obtaining this what particular what answer. I'm sure you got that right. Let's proceed. Example 2. You have s squared minus 8x minus what 20. Let's see how we can factorize this. So I use this particular format now, the short form this time. Now we multiply 1 times what 20. 1 times what 20. That is minus 20 in this case because of the minus here. Then the middle number here is what minus what 8. So now we look for two numbers such that when we multiply them, it will give us minus what 20. And when you add, you get what minus what 8. The two numbers we can use is what 2 and what 10. Now 2 times 10 is what plus what 20. We need something that will give us what minus 20. So I'll put this one now as what minus. So minus 2 times 10, that will give us minus what 20. The minus 2 plus 10, that will give us what plus what 8. So that will still not work. So what I'll do next is to remove this minus here, put the minus this way. So I use this one as what minus what 10 instead. So now we have 2 times minus 10. 2 times minus 10 will give us what minus 20. Then 2 plus minus 10, that will give us minus what 8. And that corresponds with what I'm looking for. So the two numbers I'll use now is what 2 and minus what 10. So I'll open the two brackets now. I'll put plus 2 and I'll put minus what 10. I bring x here and I bring x. So that is the answer to that what particular what question. Like I said, it is not something what difficult. Let's see the next question. Example 3. Says factorize s squared plus 4xy plus 3y was squared. Now let's take a look at this one. So again, we look for two numbers that are multiplied to give 3 because coefficient here is 1. So 1 times 3 is what? 3. So two numbers you multiply to give 3, and when you add you get 4. Is 1 and what? 3. 1 times 3 will give us 3. The 1 plus 3 will give us 4. So let's split this one now. We split that using what? The 1 is xy plus 3xy, then plus 3y was squared. So now we group this one. We group that. We get s squared plus xy plus, we group this, get 3xy plus 3y was squared. So now the common factor here is what? X. I bring out x as a common factor. S squared divided by x is x plus xy divided by x will give us what? Y plus. We bring out a common factor here, in this case 3 and what? Y. So that will be 3y. So 3xy divided by 3y will give us x. Then 3y squared divided by 3y, that will give us what? Y. So we get x plus y here, x plus y here. So we'll take 1x plus y, open another bracket, then we'll get x plus 3 what? Y. So that is the answer to that particular what? Question. Anytime you have questions under algebra that has to do with trinomial expressions, this is the best way to do that. Let's take a look at example 4. I'm going to be doing a lot of examples so that you get used to this algebra thing. Algebra is not what? Difficult. Okay, let's take a look at example 4. It says factorize 2s squared minus xy minus 6y squared. So factorize 2s squared minus xy minus 6y squared. So let's see how we can factorize this. It's just the same format. But now if you look at this now, you'll find that the coefficient here now is not what? 1. So it's the same thing we did there. We multiply 2 by what? This minus 6. 2 times minus 6. 2 times minus 6 will give us what? Minus what? 12. They give us minus 12. All we have at the middle here is what? Minus what? 1. Minus 1. So now, we need to look for two numbers such that when you multiply them, it will give what? Minus 12. And when you add, you get what? Minus what? 1. You get minus 1. In this case, the two numbers we can think of here is 4 and what? 3. 4 and what? 3. 4 and what? 3. Remember, it's going to be minus 4, minus 12 and minus 1. So for us to get minus 1 when you add, that means here is going to be minus what? 3. Because minus 4 plus 3, that will give minus 1. Then minus 4 times 3, that will give minus what? 12. So now the two numbers are used to split this minus xy. It will be minus 4 and what? 3. So now we have 2s squared minus 4xy plus 3xy, then minus 6y squared. So now we group this. We group this one and this. If we group, we get 2s squared minus 4xy plus 3xy minus 6y was squared. We bring out a common factor here. The common factor is what both of them can divide without remainder. In this case is what? 2x. Now 2x squared divided by 2x, that will give us what? X. Because 2x times x will give us 2x squared. We bring the minus sign. 4 divided by 2 is what? 2. Xy divided by x, that will give us what? Y. We have plus. Here the common factor is what? 3 what? Y. So now 3xy divided by 3y will give us x. Minus. Then 6 divided by 3 is 2. Y squared divided by y, that will give us what? Y. So here we get x minus 2y. And here is also x minus 2y. So I'll take one x minus 2y. I'll open another bracket. Bring this to x. Then bring the 3 what? Y. So that is the answer to that particular what? Question. It is not something difficult. If you have any question on this, just send it to me through the comment section. Now respond to you as soon as I see your question. Let's take a look at example 5. Let's see one more example on this. 5s squared. 5s squared plus 17xy. 5s squared plus 17xy plus 6y squared. What you should do at this point first now is to pause this video now. Pause the video and try and see if you can solve this question entirely on your own before looking at the solution to the question. Alright, let's proceed, and this movie will not pause that video. So what we have is, here is 5 and here is 6. So the coefficient of s squared is 5. So I have 5 times 6 here. That will give us what? 30. That's plus 30. Then what we have at the middle is what? Plus what? 17. So now we look for two numbers such that when you multiply them, it will give us 30. That's plus 30. And when you add, you get what? Plus 17. In this case, we can use 2 and what? 15. That's positive, positive. 2 times 15 is what? 30. 2 plus 15 is what? 17. So now I'll split this middle one now. Using the 15xy now. And the 2 now, xy. Then plus 6y was squared. So now we'll group this one. If we group that, we get 5s squared plus 15xy. And this plus sign here, then we have 2xy plus 6y squared. So now we'll bring out a common factor. The common factor here is what? 5 what? X. So we'll bring out 5x as a common factor. 5x squared divided by 5x is x. 15 divided by 5, that will give us what? 3. xy divided by x, that will give us what? Y. Bring down the positive sign. The common factor here, we have 2 and y. It's common to both of them. So I bring out 2y as a common factor. 2xy divided by 2y. We'll be left with what? X. Bring down the plus sign. 6 divided by 2. That will give us what? 3. Y squared divided by y. That will give us what? Y. So get x plus 3y, x plus 3y. So I'll take one x plus 3y. I'll open another bracket. I bring this 5x here. Then plus 2 what? Y. So this is how you factorize trinomial expressions when you are asked to factorize. Okay? It is not something really what difficult. So the next part we are going to, let's see the sum and what difference of 2 cubes. The sum and difference of 2 cubes. Let's see how we can do that in algebra. Sum and difference of two cubes. The formula says if we have a cube plus b cube, this one is the same thing as a plus b, then a squared minus ab plus b whole squared. Then if we have difference, that's a cube minus b cube. This one will give a minus b. Then we get a squared plus ab, a squared plus ab plus b whole squared. So this one is called the sum and difference of two cubes. So let's see an example now. Let's see an example. Suppose you're asked to factorize 8a to power 3 plus b to power 3. Now for this one, we'll make use of the first word formula. So this one is the same thing as writing 8 is the same thing as what? 2 raised to the power 3. So we have a to the power 3 plus b to the power 3. So now I can put this one in a single bracket. So I'll have this one as 2a to the power 3 plus b to the power 3. So making use of the formula now, the one for positive, we have a plus b. So I'll get 2a plus b. Then the next bracket, we have what? A was square. So that will be 2a square now. 2a square. 2a square minus ab. Minus ab. That will be 2a times what? B. 2a times what? B. That is 2ab, then plus b was squared. That will be b to the power 2. That will be b to the power 2. So this one will give us, the square is 1. Okay, first this other one here, 2a plus b. Then this one will now be 4a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. That is the answer to that particular question. So let's do one for the subtraction. Say factorize. Say a cube minus b cube c cube. Okay, that's for this one now, difference of two cubes. So this one will give us a minus b, that's bc. Next bracket, we have a square plus ab, which is abc now, plus b square, which is now b squared c was squared. You can put this one in a single bracket before you do the evaluation, so you can actually write this one like this so that you understand it better without making what a mistake. Okay, so a minus b, that's a minus what? bc, that's this now. Then a square, this, plus ab, that's this times this. Then b squared, that's bc squared. So that's the answer for that particular one. Like I said, this thing is not what difficult. Just understand the basic word principle. You understand the basic principle, you're able to solve any question in what algebra. So now we are going to proceed now. We are going to proceed. So this number 2 is for this one. A minus b cubed. Okay, that gives a minus b. Then a squared plus ab plus what b was squared. Then this first one is for this one. A cubed plus b what cube. So you have what a plus b. Then a squared minus ab plus what b was squared. So let's proceed. Let's go to the next thing. Let's go to the next thing now. Let's look at simplification of fractions. Simplification of fractions. Simplification of fractions. So simplify the following fractions. Number 1, we have NU. Going to be looking at very simple ones first. All over NUV. If you have this type of fraction and you are asked to simplify, you want to simplify this. What I need to do is to look for what is common to the numerator and denominator, and we cancel out. So in this case, there's n here, there's n here, that will cancel out. There's u here, and there's u here, that will cancel out. So what I'm left with is what? M over what? V. That is the answer to that particular question. Okay? Let's do the next one. H squared minus HK all over HK. Now, if you want to simplify this type of fraction, the first thing you have to do at this particular point is to simplify, bring out a common factor. If I bring out a common factor in the numerator, what is common here and here is what? H. So I have H into A squared divided by H is H. Then HK divided by H will give us what? K. All over H what? K. So now this one, we cancel this. And after cancellation, what we have is H minus K all over what? K. And that is the final answer. This one cannot cancel this one here because of the minus sign here. So anytime you have minus or plus at this point, this denominator cannot cancel what? The numerator. It's only when you have what? Multiplication. That is when you can what? Cancel out. I hope you get that. Let's proceed to example 3. So simplify 5d squared n v cube all over 15 d cube n square v to power 4. Now, if you have a question like this, what we need to do is look for what is common to the numerator and what? Denominator. This one, v to power 3, means there are 3v. So this 3 here, we cancel 3 from here, so I'm left with what? 1. There's one n here, there are 2 of them here. So this one, we cancel 1 from here, so I'm left with this one. Then for the d, there are 2 d's here, so we cancel 2 from here, you are left with what? 1. And 5 can cancel, 5 here is 1. 15 divided by 5 will give us 3. So the numerator is completely cancelled out. So I have 1 over. Then for the denominator, I have 3 here. I have this D, then I have what N, and I have what V. So that is the answer to that particular what question. That is the answer to that particular question. It's just to look for what is common to the numerator and the denominator, and then just cancel out. You get your answer. Like I said from the beginning, algebra is not something what difficult. Just apply the simple rules and you get your answer was straight up. Let's look at the next example, example 4. Example 4, still under simplification of fraction. It says a square minus b square all over b square minus ab. Now if you have a question like this, for the numerator, remember we started with this something on difference of two squares. So apply that to this now. You apply difference of two squares. This one now becomes a minus b, then a plus what b. Then for the denominator, we bring out a common factor. What is common to the two sides? There's b here, there's b here. So if I bring out b as a common factor, so b squared divided by b will give us b. Then minus ab divided by b, that will give us what? A. Now if you look at the numerator and denominator, there's nothing common at this particular point. So what I will need to do is, here is a minus b. I need to write this one as what? A minus what? B. And for me to do that, I need to bring out what? Minus what? 1 from the brackets. So that here, I'll write a b first. Then bring out minus 1 from that bracket. So if I bring out minus 1 times b becomes minus b. Then minus 1 times minus becomes plus what? A. So now, we can write that now as a minus b, then a plus b in the numerator now. And for the denominator, we have b times minus 1. That will give minus b. Then minus b plus a, you write it now as what? A minus what? B. Minus b plus a is same as a minus what? B. So this one now, we cancel this. So after that, we'll be left with a plus b in the numerator. We'll be left with a plus b in the numerator. So I have a plus b in the numerator. In the denominator, I'll have minus what? B. So that is the answer to that particular what? Question. It is not something difficult. If you have any question, you can send it to me right away and I'll respond to you. Let's look at the next one, question 5. Let's simplify h squared minus k squared all over h minus k was squared. Now for this one, if you want to simplify this one, the same thing, we apply the difference of two squares. We apply difference of two squares to the numerator, so that this one we can write now as what? H minus k, then h plus what? K. Then for the denominator, this one is square. So I have that as h minus k and another h minus what? K. So now we can cancel out now. The h minus k here, we cancel the h minus k in the denominator. So for the numerator, we have h plus k, and denominator, we have what? H minus k. And like I said earlier, this h cannot cancel this, and this k cannot cancel this, because we have plus here in between, and because we have minus in between. That is the answer to question 5. Let's take a look at another example. Let's see example 6. And after that, we'll go straight to the multiplication and division. We'll go straight to multiplication and division of fractions in algebra. Let's take a look at example 6. we have d square minus 9 all over d square minus 7d plus 12. Now we're going to apply what we just learned under trinomial expression and the difference of two squares. We're going to apply trinomials and the difference of two squares to solve this particular question. Now for the numerator, we apply difference of two squares. This is same thing as d squared minus 3 squared. Then for the denominator, the coefficient here is 1. So 1 times 12 is 12. So I'll look for two numbers such that when I multiply them, I'll get 12. When I add, I'll get minus what? 7. Two numbers you multiply to get 12. And when you add, you get minus 7. Two numbers you can use is minus 3 and minus 4. Now minus 3 times minus 4, that will give us plus 12. The minus 3 plus minus 4, that will give us minus what? 7. So like we did previously, just open two brackets, write a minus 3, then write a minus 4, then bring your d, then put another d here. You have factorized the denominator. Now for the numerator now, we apply the difference of two squares now. So d squared minus 3 squared, that gives d minus 3 and d plus what? 3. Then for the denominator, you see how the d minus 3, then d minus what? 4. D minus 3 here we cancel d minus 3 in the numerator, and then we'll be left with d plus 3 in the numerator. In denominator we have d minus what? 4. So d plus 3 all over d minus 4 becomes the final answer to that particular what? Question. So now let's proceed now. Let's look at multiplication and what? Division. Let's look at multiplication and what? Division. Multiplication and what? Division of fractions. Multiplication and division of what? Fractions. Fractions in algebra. Multiplication and division of fractions. Multiplication and division of what? Fractions. So I'm talking about fractions in what? Algebra. So let's look at the multiplication and division of fractions in what? Algebra. Multiplication and division of fractions in algebra. So now, what we have first, simplify the following. Simplify the following. Simplify the following. Example 1, we have 18ab all over 15bc times 20cd all over 24de. Now this one here is multiplication. So now we just do cancellation. Cancel whatever is common to the numerator and what? The denominator. We look at what is common to both of them, we cancel out directly. The d here can cancel this d at this point here. The c here, we cancel the c here. This b, we cancel this what? B. So after that cancellation, we have e in the denominator. The numerator, there's no e. We have a left in the numerator. So the next thing is, we look for what we can use to divide. 5 can divide here. 5 into 15 is 3. 5 into 20, that will give us what? 4. 4 can divide up and this what? Down. That's the numerator and the denominator. 4 going here is 1. 4 into 24 will give us what? 6. That's the numerator and denominator cancelled out. Then the next thing is that this 6 here, in the denominator here, divided by 6 will give us 1. Then 6 into 18 will give us what? 3 in the what? Numerator. So now, this 3 up here in the numerator, we cancel this 3 in the what? The denominator. So for this part here, we are left with A. Let's see what we have left. Then, for this part here, we have cancelled everything here. This one, everything has been cancelled. Then this one, we've cancelled everything here except for the E. So the final answer becomes what? A over what? E. That is the answer to that particular what? Question. So this is how you divide and multiply. That's how you can divide questions or multiply when you have what? Algebra. Let's take a look at one under division. Let's take a look at one under division. Example 2. Now, usually, before we look at example 2, you understand that if we have fractions, let's say you have something like 5 over 6 divided by, let's say, 1 over 3. Now, for you to solve this one, we can write this 5 over 6 again. You change this division to multiplication. And anytime you change division to multiplication, you need to what? Invert. This one was 1 over 3. We can now write it as 3 over 1. So 3 here is 1. And 3 here gives what? 2. So the final answer becomes what? 5 over what? 2. Or you can divide that now and put the answer in what fraction? So now, always remember anytime you change division to what? Multiplication. You change division to multiplication, you will need to what? Invert. Okay? You will need to what? Invert. So this one, if you feel like, you can write this one as 2 number, 1 over 2. Or you can write it as what? 2.5. Okay, but that's by the way. Let's take a look at the proper example now under algebra. Example 2 now. Example 2. Simplify 12d n cube all over 15 c d cube divided by 9 c cube n divided by 10 c square d square. Now if you have something like this in algebra and you want to divide, the same thing we did here, that's the same thing we are going to do. But the first thing we do first is to change the division sign to multiplication. We change the division sign to multiplication. We'll have to what? Invert, just like what I showed you previously. So I change the division to multiplication. And when we invert, we have 10c squared d squared divided by 9c cubed what? N. So the next thing I'll do now is to look for what is common to the numerator and the denominator. What is common to the numerator and the denominator? Let's start with this d. There are 2 of them there. If we cancel 2 from here, we'll be left with what? 1. So the next thing we have is, there are 2c here. If we cancel 2 from here, we'll be left with what? C. So let's check again. Okay, this d now, remaining 1 d here. It will be cancelled by this d up there. So let's see. This one has been cancelled out. Remember, we still have 1 c left here. Then n, there are 3 n here, and we only have 1. So this one, we cancel 1 from here. So we'll be left with what? 2. So we still have n to power 2. So now, this n is gone. This 2 left. We have c here. We check the numerator, there's no c. So we leave this c aside. We have c in the denominator, we leave that. This d to power 3 is already cancelled out. Okay, so there's nothing else to cancel here. We go back now to the numbers. Now looking at the numbers there, 5 can divide this. That will give us 3. 5 can divide 10. And that will give us what? 2. The next thing I'll need to do, let's check again. Let's check what can divide. 3 can divide what? 9. 3 into 9 will give us 3. Then 3 into 12 will give us what? 4. We check again now. Let's check. Let's see if anything can still divide. Nothing else can divide. So we'll multiply 4 times this 2. And that will give us what? 8. That will give us 8 in the numerator. Then again we check. We are left with n squared here. And there's nothing there. So write what? N squared all over. We go now to the denominator. Here we have 3. We have 3 here. 3 times 3. That will give us what? 9. Then we have c left here. We also have c here. So c times c. That will give us what? C was squared. So the answer becomes 8n squared over 9c was squared. Now for objective exams, sometimes you may not see the options like this because we have a square here and square here. So there's another way you can write the answer. The answer can also be written as 8 over what? 9. Then we have n over what? C. N over c squared. So this and that is the same thing. Both answers are correct depending on what you have if it's an objective for the exam. So this is what is done for multiplication and what? Division. Let's take a look at another example. Let's see example 3. Let's see example 3. Example 3. To simplify uv all over 3u minus 6v times 4u minus 8v all over u square what? V. U square what? V. So this one is similar to the first example. So what I will do is to try to see if there's something common to the numerator and the denominator. We try and see if there's something common. Let's factorize this first and factorize that. Let's see if there's something common. But first of all, you see that this v here can cancel this v right away. And this u here, we cancel 1 from here. So I'm left with 1. So now let's factorize this one. The common factor here, what can divide this and this is what? 4. So I bring out 4 as a common factor. 4u divided by 4, we get what? U. 8v divided by 4, that will give us what? 2v. Okay, that's a little left in the numerator. Then this one, the common factor here is 3. We have 3 into 3u divided by 3 will give us u. Then 6v divided by 3, that will give us what? 2. So we have 2v. And of course times. And here now we have what? 1 over what? U. This u left. So now this one now, we cancel this. So we have 4 times 1. And that will give us what? 4. Then we have 3 times what? U. And that will give us what? 3 what? U. So that is the answer to that particular what? Question. I've always told you maths is not a difficult subject. Just quickly think about the formulas. You can see we start with difference of 2 squares, and we are doing application of that together with what the trinomial what expressions in solving what questions. Most things in mathematics are what linked. That is why it's necessary for you to do what a constant what practice, because the more you practice these things, the more you get used to the way it is what done. So now let's take a look at another example now. Let's see example 4. Let's see example 4. Now for example 4 we have a square minus b square now. A square minus b square all over a square plus ab divided by 2a minus 2b all over ab. Now for this one here, we apply the difference of 2 squares here. But before applying the difference of 2 squares, based on what we talked about earlier, you have to change this division sign to what? Multiplication. We change the division sign to multiplication. Then we should have the a square minus b square. Then we have the a square plus ab. Then change division to multiplication. We invert this one. So we have ab all over 2a minus 2 what b. So now we apply difference of 2 squared to the numerator here. We apply difference of 2 squares. This one becomes a minus b, a plus what b. I've always told you, after looking at the first two examples, always pause the video and try to solve the next question first. Solve it, then after that you look at the solution to be sure you got it correctly, and that's how you learn. So just in case you don't get it correctly, you can easily identify where your error is. Alright, take a look at this one now. The common factor is what? A. So a squared divided by a will give us a. We have what? Plus. Then ab divided by a, that will give us what? B. Then for this part here, you see I have what? ab. Then we factorize, bring out 2 as a common factor. By bring out 2 as a common factor, 2a divided by 2 will give us a. Then 2b divided by 2 will give us b. So we get what? A minus what? B. So now the a minus b here now, we cancel the a minus b in the numerator. Then the a plus b here in the denominator. We cancel this a plus b in the numerator. Then the a here, we cancel this a from here. And then we'll be left with what? B over what? 2. So the final answer is what? B all over what? 2. So this is how you simplify questions under algebra when we talk about multiplication and division of fractions in what? Algebra. Multiplication and division of fractions in algebra. You can say it is not something what difficult. We are using a step-by-step approach, and that's the same thing you should learn to do, because that is the best way you can actually get used to this particular way of word solving. Let's take a look at the next example. Example 5. Simplify 5a b c square minus 10ab cd divided by 3b square c square minus 6b square cd, then times 12b times 12b 12b c squared d divided by 10a cd. Okay, that's the question. That's question what? 5. That's question 5 now. Told you I'll be doing a lot of examples so that when you see questions under algebra after this class, you should be able to solve any question under what? Algebra. Be it fraction, be it multiplication, be it division, be it substitution in fraction, you will be able to solve it. Now, if you take a look at this, now we can't just cancel out this one or this first, but we can actually cancel this other part first because of this multiplication. But for this one, we need to factorize first before we talk about what? Cancellation. But first of all, let's cancel this one. This D, we cancel this D. This C, we cancel one C from here. So we are left with BC, and then we see have what? A. If you feel like you can just cancel first, let's say 2 dividing this one will give us 6, and 2 dividing this will give us what? 5. So now let's work on this one first. There's 5 here, there's 10 here. What is common to both of them is what? 5. So I bring up 5 as a common factor first. Then we have what? A and A here. We bring out A as a common factor. Then we have B and B. We bring out B as a common factor. We have C squared and C. The smaller of the two is what? C. So I bring out C. So now there's D here, there's no D here. So that's the only common factor we have. Put this one in the bracket. So now 5abc squared divided by 5abc, that will give us what? C. And minus 10 divided by 5 will give us what? 2. So we have ABC. So ABC, that will cancel out. So we'll be left with what? D. That's for the numerator now. Then all over. For the denominator, the first thing that's common to both of them is 3. Then we have b square here. Bring out a b square. Then we have c square and what? C. The smaller of the two is what? C. So I bring out C. Okay. So now, there's no that in common. We open a bracket now. So 3 cancels. B square cancels. Then C square divided by C. That will give us what? C. Then we have what? Minus 6 divided by 3. That will give us what? 2. Then b square, we cancel the b square. C, we cancel the C. Then you are left with what? D. So times. Then up here we have 6. Then we have BC. All over. Then we have 5 here. Then we have what? A. So now we'll check again now to see if there's something common that we can cancel now. So first C minus 2D. We cancel C minus what? 2D. So again, this A here, we cancel this A this way. Then we check again. This C here, we cancel this C here. We check again. This B here, we cancel one of the B here. So I left with one B. Then this B, we cancel this what? B. So now, BC cancelled, A cancelled, this one cancelled. So I left with what? C in the numerator here. There's nothing in the denominator now. So now we look at it again. This 5 here, we cancel this 5 this way. Then everything here is cancelled now. This one is cancelled. This one is off. This 2 is off. You are left with 3. So 3 here is 1. 3 into 6 will give us what? 2. That will give us 2. So now everything here is cancelled. Everything here is cancelled. We check. This one is cancelled. This one is cancelled. Then for this one, this 2 cancelled. Remaining 2. I bring out the 2 that is left. Then this one cancelled. This cancelled. So the final answer becomes what? 2. So this is how you carry out what? Division and what? Multiplication. You do it what? Step by what? Step. So you see the importance of learning to do what? Factorization at the beginning of this what? Class. That's why I said everything in mathematics is what? Linked. So you don't need to skip any what part, because it's very important that you learn step by what? Step. You can see what we did in example 5. You can see what we did in example 5. You can understand why it's necessary not to skip a step. Let's look at this next one. It says factorize e squared minus 5e plus 6 divided by e squared plus 2e minus what? 3 divided by 3e minus 9 all over 2e squared plus 6 what? E. And let's take a look at this now. Let's take a look at this. Now, pause the video again now and see if you can solve this one. After then, you play and check what the solution. Alright, let's proceed now. Now, we are going to apply what we did under trinomials. But before we do that, let's change this division sign now to multiplication first. So we have e squared minus 5e plus 6 divided by e squared plus 2e minus what? 3. Change the division to multiplication. Then we invert this one. We get 2e squared plus 6e divided by 3e minus what? 9. Okay. So now that we've done the inversion, 2e squared plus 6e becomes the numerator. Then 3e minus 9 becomes what? The denominator. Now at this point we still cannot cancel yet. We still cannot cancel. Now we have to factorize this one now. So now we look for two numbers that when you multiply to give 6, when you add you get minus what? 5. Two numbers we can use there is what? Minus 2 and minus 3. So based on what we've done so far, we can do that directly now. I open two brackets. So we have minus 2 and minus what? 3. Because minus 2 times minus 3 will give us plus 6. Minus 2 plus minus 3 will give us minus 5. So I'll bring E here. I'll bring what? E here. Just in case you've forgotten, you can go back to where we started from at the beginning of this class, where we looked at what trinomial expression. Look at that again, then fast forward the video to this particular point. So here again, you look for two numbers, and when you multiply, it will give minus 3. And when you add, you get what? Plus what? 2. What are the two numbers that you multiply to give minus 3? The two numbers you can multiply, you can use is what? Minus 1 plus what? 3. Minus 1 and plus 3. Minus 1 times plus 3 will give us minus what? 3. Then minus 1 plus 3 will give us plus what? 2. So I open the two brackets again. I open two brackets. Then I have the plus 3. I have plus 3. Then I have what? Minus what? 1. Then I'll get E at this point. And I have what? E at that particular what? Point. So now, multiply. The common factor here is what? 2E. So I have 2E as a common factor. 2E divided by 2E will give us E. Then 6 divided by 2, that will give us 3. Then E will cancel out. So we have E plus what? 3. All over. The denominator, we bring out 3 as a common factor. 3E divided by 3 will give us E. The minus 9 divided by 3 will give us what? 3. So you have what? E minus 3 in the what? Denominator. So now we can cancel out now. A minus 3 in the numerator cancels E minus 3 in the denominator. Then E plus 3 in the denominator cancels E plus 3 in the what? Numerator. So look at that again. Let's see if there's any other thing that can cancel. We look at that, we see that there's nothing else that can cancel there. Because here is E minus 2, and here is E minus 1 that cannot cancel. Then here we have what? 2E, and then we have what? 3. So what I need to do is just to what? Open up what? To multiply now. Just multiply. We multiply that. And when you multiply that, what I will have become 2E times this one. So we can have 2E into E minus 2 all over. Then we have 3 into E minus what? 1. So that is the final answer for this particular what? 1. Like I told you, there's nothing special about this topic. It is not something what difficult. It is something you can actually what do. Okay, I'm sure you've been enjoying the video so far. So, you know you've been learning something from this video. You can click the like button now. Click the like button. Subscribe to this what channel so that you'll be notified anytime we upload what new what videos. We are still going to proceed. There are other aspects of what algebra. There are other aspects of algebra, okay, which we are still going to look at. We're going to proceed now. We'll look at addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction of what? Fractions. That is the next part. Addition and subtraction of fractions. Addition and subtraction of fractions. Addition and what? Subtraction. Addition and subtraction of fractions. So I'm still looking at fractions in what? Algebra. But I'm still looking at fractions in what? Algebra. So let's see how we do addition and subtraction in what? Algebra. So simplify. Let's take a look at the first example. Simplify the following. Simplify the following. First one. Example 1, we have 4 over x. 4 over x minus 6 over x plus what? 2. 6 over x plus 2. So what I'll do at this point is to simplify this one. What I want to do is to bring them together. I take the LCM. The LCM is what both of them can divide without the remainder. So I'll get x into x plus 2. That becomes the LCM. Multiplying this by what this. So now this one divided by x, that will give us what? X plus 2. So multiply using that 4. So I have x plus 2. This minus sign here. Then what? The 6. Then this divided by x plus 2, that will give us what? X. So you multiply by x. You open a bracket in the numerator. We have 4 times x, that's 4x. 4 times 2 will give us what? 8. Then we have what? Minus what? 6 what? X. Then the denominator we have x into x plus what? 2. So now we have 4x minus what? 6x. That will give us minus 2x. Then we have what? Plus what? 8. All over. Then we have x into x plus what? 2. That is the final answer, except you wish to what? Factorize this one. You want to factorize that, you bring out 2 as a common factor. You bring out 2 as a common factor, or minus what? 2, so that you have minus 2 into, you now have what? X minus what? 4. X minus what? 4. You can still leave the answer like that. So depending on what you have, if you are writing an objective word exam, so if you want to factorize further, you bring out minus 2 as a common factor. So minus 2x divided by minus 2 will give us x. Then 8 divided by minus 2 will give us minus what? 4. Then all over x into x plus what? 2. So we can leave the answer in this form. So that's the final answer for this first one. So this one is called subtraction of fractions in what? Algebra. Subtraction of fractions in algebra. Let's see another example. To simplify, a plus 2 all over a minus 1 over 3ab. Now, for a question like this, if you want to carry out a subtraction, bring out the LCM. The LCM is what both of them can divide with that remainder. In this case is what? 3ab. Now 3ab divided by a, that will give us what? 3 what? B. So we have 3b into a plus what? 2. Bring the minus sign. 3ab divided by 3ab will give us 1. So 1 times minus 1 is to give us minus 1. So we open a bracket now. We have 3b times what? A. That will give us 3ab. That will give us 3ab. Then 3b times 2. That will give us what? 6b. Then we have minus 1. All over. Then we have 3ab. Now we've combined that now. We've combined that. So this is how you carry out that particular word. This is how you carry out that word subtraction. Like I said, this is not something difficult. It's not something difficult. Just look for the LCM. You look for the LCM, what is common to both of them. And then that's what both of them can divide without what the remainder. That's the LCM. Okay. Then you divide, you multiply with what the numerator. You get your what final word answer. Now let's take a look at another example. Let's see example 3. Number 3, we have 3 plus 2 over 5ab. If you have something like this, for you to carry out this addition, You know that this one is the same thing as writing 3 over 1 plus 2 over 5ab. So at the LCM is 5ab. LCM is 5ab. 5ab divided by 1 is 5ab. Then 5ab times what? 3. 5ab times 3. Then we have plus 5ab divided by 5ab will give us 1. Then 1 times 2 will give us what? 2. So now we open a bracket. 3 times 5ab will give us 15ab. Then we have what? Plus what? 2 all over 5ab. Like I've always told you, we cannot cancel this one because of this addition what sign. So that is the answer to that particular question. Let's proceed. Let's go to example 4. Let's see example 4. Example 4. So simplify 3 over 2ab, 3 over 2ab plus 4 over 3bc. 4 over 3bc. So now for this one here, the LCM again. We look for the LCM. We have 2 times 3 first, that is 6. Then there's A, there's no A here, I'll bring A. There's B and there's B here, I'll take 1 B. There's no C and there's C, I take 1 C. So that's the LCM. Another way you can just do that is take everything here and everything here. So I have 2 times 3, that will be 6. So we have A, B square what C. You still get the same answer as the person make use of this one. Okay? Alright, let's proceed now. Let's proceed. Now 6ABC divided by 2AB. If you divide this one, this divided by this, the 2 will cancel out, A will cancel out, B will cancel out. So we'll get what? This 3 first. So 6 divided by 2 will give us what? 3. Then A will cancel A, B will cancel A, B, we are left with what? C. Then we have plus, we have 4. Then 6 divided by 3 will give us 2. Then B will cancel, C will cancel. We are left with what? A. So now we open up the brackets. We open up the brackets. We have 3 times 3, that is 9. We have 9C plus 4 times 2, that will give us what? 8. We have 8A all over 6ABC. So that is the final answer because we cannot add up this and this, and we cannot cancel at this particular point. So we leave the answer in that form. We leave the answer in that form. That is the answer to that particular what question. All right, let's proceed now. Let's see example 5. Let's see example 5. Still under addition and subtraction of fractions in algebra. Fractions in algebra. Let's see example 5. Example 5 says simplify 3a minus b all over 5ab minus 2b plus 3c all over 6bc plus 3c minus 2a all over 15ac. Now, if you take a look at this one, take a look at this. We need to find what is common to everything here that we can use as the LCM. Okay? It's quite different now because we have 1, 2, 3. Unlike what we have been doing so far, we had what 2. That is still the same thing. So the first one thing I'll pick at the number, let's say 5 times 6 will give us 30. 30 can be divided by 5, 30 can be divided by 6, and 30 can be divided by 15. So I'll take what 30, which is the 5 times 6. Another way you can do that is to multiply 5 times 6 times what 15. You write the number there. You can still use that as the LCM. At the final stage, you just what cancel out. You see arrive at the same what answer. So at this point, let's see. We have A, there's B, C, there's A here. So I'll take what A, because we have one A. We look for this common to all of them. Then we have B, B, take one B. So we're taking the 2 here. Then we have B, we're taking the B. There's C here, take what is C. We're taking BC from here. Then AC, we're taking what AC from there. So that's the LCM. So now the next thing I'll do now, 30. Okay, let's try this first. We have 3A minus what B. Okay, first of all, 30 divided by 5. That will give us what 6. Just pay attention here now, because this one is lengthy. Then ABC divided by AB. We cancel this AB, we left with what C. So we have 6C into, then we have 3A minus what B. We bring the minus sign. Then we have 30 divided by what 6. And that will give us what 5. Then BC, you cancel BC from here. You are left with what A. Then we have 2B plus 3 what C. And bring down the plus sign. Bring down the plus sign. Then we have 3C. First of all, 30 divided by what 15. 30 divided by 15, that will give us 2. Then we have AC. Canceling this AC here. You are left with what B. And here we have 3C minus what 2 what A. We have 3C minus 2 what A. 3C minus what 2 what A. So now we can open up the brackets now. We open up the brackets. We open up the brackets. We have 6 times what 3. So I'll get what 18. 18 AC. Then 6 times B. There's a minus sign there. Then 6 times B. That's 6C now. We have 6B what C. Then here, there's a minus sign outside here. And 5 times 2, that is 10. Then we have what AB. And the minus times this plus is minus. Then 5 times 3, that is 15. Then AC. We have this plus sign now. Then we have 2 times 3. That will give us what 6. We have BC. We bring the minus sign. Then 2 times 2. That will give us what 4. Then B times what A. That is what AB. Then the denominator. We see have 30. 30 A, B, C. So now, we proceed now. Let's see if there's anything common to all of them. We have 18 AC, and we have what 15 what A, what C. You add up that will give us what 30. Okay, no, this is minus. This is minus, and this one is plus. Let's see if there's any other AC anywhere. There's no other AC. So we have 18 AC minus 15 what AC. That will give us 3 AC. 3 AC. So let's proceed now. We have BC now. BC. Let's see if there's any other BC. We have BC here. But this one is minus 6 BC. And this one is plus 6 BC. So they will what? Cancel out. Minus 6 plus 6 will cancel out. Well, let's proceed now to what? AB. AB. Remember this AC? We have used it with this. So we have what? AB. Let's see if we have what? AB now. This one has been used. BC, we've used BC. So I left with what? AB. So we have minus 10 AB. Minus 10 AB. Minus 14. So minus 10 minus what? 4. That will give us what? Minus what? 14. we have minus 14, then AB, all over, and we have 30, ABC. So that should be the final answer. That should be the final answer. Just checking. Minus 10, minus 4, that is what? Minus 14. Then 18AC minus 15AC, that will give us 3AC. So 6BC minus, we cancel this word 6B word C. So minus plus, that will give what? Minus. So the 10 minus 10, the minus 4, that will give us minus 14. So that is the answer for that particular question. That's the answer for that particular question. These things are not what difficult. It's just for you to understand that you should take this thing step by step. Take it step by step, and you'll be able to obtain the final answer. If you have any question on this, send it to me right away, and I'll respond to you. Let's take a look at the next question. Simplify 3mn all over 2m squared plus 2n squared plus 5mn over 3m squared plus 3n squared. And let's take a look at that. Now for this particular one here, this is similar to what we did before. Try and see what you can take as the LC word m. This is 2m squared plus 2n squared. This is 3m squared plus 3n was squared. So what I'll do at this point is, let's factorize this first. Let's check. Let's factorize first. We have 3mn. The common factor here is what? 2. If I bring out 2 as a common factor, 2m squared divided by 2, that will give us what? M squared. Then 2n squared divided by 2, that will give what? N was squared. Then plus, we have 5mn, all over. The common factor is 3. I bring out 3 as a common factor. I have what? M squared plus what? N was squared. So you see, now looking at that now, we can now get what? The LCM. We can get the LCM right away from there now. So that we just multiply 2 by what? 3. That will give us what? 6. So that will give us 6. So I have what? M squared. I have M squared plus what? N squared. Because it's common to both of them. So that's our LCM now. So now this one divided by 2. Okay, not just 2 now. Everything here divided by this one. That will give us what? 3. Because this one we cancel out. So 6 divided by 2 will give 3. So I have 3 into 3mn. Then plus. Then this one here divided by this. That will give us what? 2. So I have 2 brackets 5m1n. So we open up the brackets now. We open up the brackets. We are still talking about addition and subtraction of fractions in algebra. Fractions in algebra. A lot of students are scared of this topic, algebra. But you can see that it's only what tricky. It is not something really what difficult. So I'm showing you a step-by-step way to understand everything you need to know under what algebra. So multiply this now. 3 times 3 will give us what? 9. So I'll get what? 9mn. 9mn plus. Then I have 2 times what? 5. That will give us what? 10. Then m what? N. All over the denominator. The denominator we have 6 into m squared plus n was squared. So now when we add up the numerator now, what that we have will now be, for the numerator we have 9 plus 10 now. We get 19 m what? N. 19mn all over 6 into m squared plus n was squared. Now we check the numerator and denominator. Nothing can cancel out at that point. So that we leave the answer as 19mn all over 6 brackets m squared plus what n was squared. Now let's take one more example on this addition and subtraction. Then we'll go to substitution in what fraction. Let's take a look at one more example on this one, so that I get a better understanding. So we have 3c, to factorize 3c all over c squared minus this square. Let's see how we can simplify this. Minus 3d all over d square minus c square. D square minus c square. D square minus what? C square. D square minus c square. Now if you look at this one, it may look like they are what different, but they are not. They are not. This one is c square minus d square. This one is d square minus what? C square. We have to make this one look like this. We have to write this as c square minus d square. For me to do that, we write the numerator as 3c. The denominator c square minus d square. We have minus 3d. Then for what we did previously, bring out minus 1 from the bracket. I bring out minus 1 from the bracket. I bring out minus 1 from the bracket. We can write this one as what? Minus d square minus what? C square. Or better still, let's write this whole thing as this. Let's not use this approach. Let me show you another approach. I've taught you difference of two squares. So from difference of two squares, this one is c minus d, c plus d. This one is d minus c, c plus d. So let's use the difference of two square approach. Here you have 3c all over. This one will be c minus d. Then c plus what? D. Okay? C minus d, c plus d. The minus, we have 3d. This one is d minus c. Then d plus what? C. Now d plus c is same thing as what? C plus what? D. It's same thing as what? C plus d. So now let's bring out the LCM now. Let's bring out the LCM now. What is common? The lowest common multiple. So now the LCM now, what we can use now as the LCM, we look for what is common to both of them now. Here is c plus d, and here is c plus d. You can bring out c plus d first. We have c plus d. And here, we have c minus d, c minus d, c minus d. Then d minus what? C. D minus what? C. Now mind you, this one, we don't want to use everything there as the LCM. We don't want to use everything there as the LCM. We can actually write just what? 1. We can actually write just 1. Because this c minus d, okay, if I bring out minus 1 from the bracket here, I will now have minus 1 into c minus d. Okay, so I now put minus 1 there. But let's leave it like this. So now, this one here now, divided by this. This is c minus d, c plus d. So c minus d, c plus d. If everything here divides, we divide by this one, we left with what? D minus c. So I have this 3c into d minus c. They will still cancel out in the long run, so let's leave that. We bring out this minus now. Now everything here now divided by this. This is d minus c, which is this. Then d plus c, which is this. So we'll be left with what? C minus what? D. So I have 3d into c minus what? D. C minus what? D. D minus c, which is this first one here. We cancel this one. Then this d plus c, we cancel d plus c. So I left with c minus d. So now let's open up the bracket now. We open up the bracket now. We open up the bracket. We open up the bracket. We have 3c times what? D. That will give us 3cd. 3c times this. C times c is what? C squared. So we have minus 3c was squared. Minus 3c was squared. Then we have minus this multiplying this. You have 3dc. Minus minus is plus. Then you have what? 3d was squared. 3d squared. Then for the denominator, we have c plus d. C minus d. Then d minus what? C. So now let's combine that now. We have 3cd minus 3cd. That we cancel out. Okay? So we have 3d squared and this one. So I have 3d squared now. 3d squared. Then we have what? Minus 3c squared. Because this 3cd, we cancel the 3cd here. Because this one is same as cd. This is same as cd. It's same thing as what? cd. So minus 3cd, then plus 3cd we cancel out. We have minus 3c squared, which is this. Then plus 3d squared, which is this. So for the denominator, we have c plus d. Then here you have c minus d. Then you have d minus what? C. So let's see what we have so that we can cancel out. Here, the common factor here is what? 3. We bring out 3 as a common factor. We bring out 3 as a common factor. We bring out 3 as a common factor there. You have 3 into d squared minus c squared. So now we can now cancel what we have in the denominator. We have c plus d, we have c minus d, we have d minus what? C. So now this one, we apply difference of 2 squares again. We apply difference of 2 squares. So this one gives us 3 into d minus c, d plus c. Then the denominator, we have c plus d. Then we have c minus d. Then d minus c. Okay, now let's see how we cancel out now. First, d minus c. Take off d minus what? C. C plus d. C plus d. So c plus d, we cancel c plus what? D. So now for the numerator, I'm left with 3. And the denominator, I'm left with c minus what? D. So that is the final answer for that one. So just use the step-by-step approach. Just use the step-by-step approach. But if you understand how to make use of the previous formula I wanted to use, you can actually use that. Because that will be shorter than this one actually. That will be shorter than this. But I have to use this one just in case for those people that don't understand how to bring out that minus what? 1. You can still use the same approach. Use this approach, you get your answer directly. There are a few things left under algebra or algebraic word processes that we need to look at. Let's look at the next part, which is substitution in fractions. Substitutions in fraction. Substitution in fraction. So we're still looking at fractions in what? Algebra. Fractions in algebra. So let's see how we do substitution in fractions. Let's see how we do substitution in fractions. And after that, we look at some things under undefined word fraction. Let's look at example 1. Example 1. So given that this part of algebra is simple, so just follow me closely. Given that x over y equal to 2 over 7, evaluate 7x plus y all over x minus 1 over 7 what? Y. Now, if you have a question like this, what you are simply asked to do is just to substitute. For you to substitute in this particular fraction here, you are told that x over y is equal to 2 over what? 7. What this simply means is that x is equal to 2, then y is equal to what? 7. X is equal to 2, then y is equal to what? 7. So if x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 7, then in this particular expression I was asked to evaluate, what I'll simply do is I'll write a 7, then x in place of x I'll put what? 2. I'll put 2 in place of x, then plus y is what? 7. I'll put 7 in place of y, all over x is what? 2. So I'll put 2, then minus 1 over what? 7 times what? Y is what? 7. So I have 7 at this point. So now this 7 here, we cancel this 7 here. 2 times 7 here is what? 14. So we have 14 plus what? 7 all over. Here is what? 2. Then minus, this one will now give us what? 1. 2 minus what? 1. So when you add up this, you get what? 20 what? 1 divided by 2 minus 1 is 1. So the final answer here is what? 20 what? 1. This is what is called substitution in what? Fractions under what? Algebra. Now in algebraic expressions, anytime you come across something like this, just know that what you are asked to do is just to substitute from what you were given in the previous part. Sometimes it may give it to you in ratio form. It may give it to you in ratio form. Now when you have it in ratio form, you may have something like this. If A ratio B equal to 5 ratio 3, evaluate 6A plus B all over A minus 1 over 3 what? B. A minus 1 over 3 what? B. Now if you have something like this, see the same thing. For this first part, A ratio B being equal to 5 ratio 3, that implies this implies A is equal to what? 5, A equal to 5, then B is equal to what? 3. A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 3. So if I substitute in this particular expression, I get what? 6 into A. A is 5. Then plus B. B is what? 3 all over A. A is 5 minus 1 over 3. B. B is what? 3. So now we have something like this. So 5 times what? 6. That's 30. We have 30 plus 3 all over. We have 5 here now. Then this 3 we cancel this. So that gives 1. So you get 5 minus what? 1. And this one will give us 30 plus what? 3. That will give us what? 33 all over 5 minus 1. You have 33 over what? 4. You can leave the answer in that form. You can leave the answer in that form as 33 over 4. Or you can write it in what? In decimal. You can also give the answer in what? Decimal, depending on what you have if you are writing an objective exam. Or you can put it in what? Mixed what? Numbers. So whichever you prefer, depending on what you are asked to do, if it's an objective what? Exam. So let's proceed. Let's look at example what? 3. Let's see example 3. Let's see example 3. Example 3 is quite different, but it's still the same substitution now. It says if A is equal to D plus 1 all over D minus 1, express A plus 1, express A plus 1 all over A minus 1 in terms of D. In terms of D. Now, if you have something like this, what it simply means is, anywhere you see A, simply put what D plus 1 over D minus what 1. That's the meaning. That's the meaning. This one is going to be a little bit lengthy now, but let's proceed now. Let's see. So we have A plus 1. So in place of A, I'll put D plus 1. I'll put D plus 1 using this one now. So I'll get, in place of A, I'll put D plus 1. D plus 1 over D minus 1. Then this plus what 1 here, the numerator. All over the denominator, we have A minus. A is what D plus 1. All over D minus 1. Then minus what 1. So this is what we have for the numerator and what denominator. So the best thing you need to do from here, you can solve one part first. If you decide, you can still solve both of them together, the numerator and what denominator. Now for the numerator here, the LCM is D minus 1. D minus 1. So D minus 1 divided by D minus 1 will give 1. So we have D plus 1 there. Then we have plus. This one is same as 1 over 1. So D minus 1 divided by 1 is still D minus 1. So D minus 1 times 1 is D minus 1. D minus 1. Then for the denominator, the LCM is D minus 1. So D minus 1 divided by D minus 1 is 1. Then 1 times D plus 1. Then we have minus sign there. Then, of course, this same as 1 over 1. So D minus 1 divided by D minus divided by 1 is D minus 1. Then D minus 1 times 1. That will give D minus 1. It's necessary to put this one in the brackets because this one is minus. For the numerator, the plus, I didn't put that in the brackets because it's plus. Okay? So now, let's proceed now. Let's proceed. So what we have next is, what we'll do next is, we add up that. We have D plus D. That is 2D now. We have 2D. Then 1 minus 1 is what? 0. So we have 2D over what? D minus what? 1. That's for the first part now, the numerator. Then for the denominator, we open a bracket. We have D plus 1. Then minus D. Minus minus is plus. Plus 1. All over D minus what? 1. D minus 1. So this one will give us 2D all over D minus 1 all over. So now D minus D will give us 0. 1 plus 1, that will give us what? 2. So I have what? 2 all over D minus 1. So now we'll go back to what we did under division now. Let's write this first as D minus 1 now. Then this one is divided by, then 2 all over D minus 1. So from what we did previously, we changed the division sign to multiplication. We change the division sign to multiplication. We have 2D over D minus 1. We change to multiplication, we invert. So we have D minus 1 all over our 2. So now this D minus 1, we cancel the D minus 1 here. 2 here is 1. 2 here is what? 1. So the 2 we cancel out. So the final thing we are left with is what? D. So the answer to that question is what? D. So this is how you do what is called substitution in fraction under what? Algebraic what? Expression or algebraic what? Processes. Alright, let's proceed. Let's proceed. We still have 2 more things to look at. The next we are looking at is equations with fractions. Equations with fractions. Equations with fractions. Let's look at that, then we'll look at the last part. So equations with fractions. Equations with fractions. Equations with fractions. That's the next part. Now, so solve the following what? Equations. Solve the following equations. Solve the following equations. Number one, we have 5 minus 2d equals 2 over d. Now, if you have something like this and you're asked to solve, this one is not something difficult. You should be familiar with this one. You should be familiar with this. You have something like this to solve this equation. What we need to do is to get the value of d. That's what we are asked to actually do. So to get the value of d from this type of equation, we start first by what? Cross what? Multiplication. We cross multiply. For cross multiply, you use the d. We cross multiply. We use this d to multiply this now. We have d into 5 minus 2d, then equal to what? 2. We open the brackets. We have 5d minus 2d squared equal to what? 2. So now take everything to the right hand side. Let's see what we get. We take everything to the right hand side. We get 0 equal to 2. Then we have minus 5d, then plus 2d was squared. You can rearrange that now. Rearrange that and have that as 2d squared minus 5d plus 2 equal to what? 0. So if you look at that, what we have now is what? A trinomial what? Expression. What we have here is a trinomial what? Expression. Now for this type of trinomial expression now, based on what we've done before now, under trinomial expressions, you should be able to solve this. What I'll do is, I'll multiply the coefficient of d squared now. We multiply the coefficient of d squared, which is 2 in this case, by what? 2. 2 times 2 will give us what? 4. So now look for two numbers such that if I multiply them, I'll get what? 4. But when I add them, I'll get what? Minus 5. The two numbers you can use in this case, 2 times 2 is what? 4. That's plus 4. And when you add, you get minus what? 5. The two numbers we can use, and you multiply together, is 4 first. We have 4 and 1. 4 times 1 is 4. So to get minus 5, it means here has to be minus 4 and minus what? 1. Minus 4 times minus 1 is plus 4. Minus 4 plus minus 1 will give us what? Minus what? 5. So now split this one here using minus 4 and minus 1. So if I do that, I have this what? 2d squared. 2d squared. Then instead of minus 5d there, I'll split that using the minus 4 now. I get minus 4d, then minus what? D, then plus what? 2 equal to what? 0. So if I group these two, we get 2d squared minus 4d, put this one in a single bracket, minus, then d minus 2 equal to 0. Yes, minus because of this minus outside. Minus times minus will give us what? Plus. So now we bring out the common factor. In this case is what? 2d. 2d squared divided by 2d. That will give us what? D. 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. D we cancel out. So we are left with d minus 2. Common factor is 1. So we have what? D minus 2 equal to what? 0. So now d minus 2. D minus 2 this way. I take 1d minus 2, open another bracket, I have 2d minus 1 equal to what? 0. So now, d minus 2 is equal to what? 0. So d minus 2 equals 0. What it means is that d will be equal to what? 2. That's transferring the minus 2 across. Then if the 2d minus 1 now equal to 0, 2d minus 1 equal to 0. What it means is, we transfer 1 across the equality. You have 1 there. Then divide both sides by what? 2. So that we'll get what D equals 1 over what 2. So the two values of D are D equal to 2 and D equal to what? 1 over what 2. Those are the two values of D for this particular equation. This is what is done under equations with fractions under what? Algebra. Okay? I'm going to look at maybe two more examples on this one. Let's see another question. Solve the following word equation. If you have any question on that, you can send it to me using what the comment was section. I'm going to write the next question on the board now. I'm going to write the next question on the board. The next one says, so we have n minus 3 equals 4 over n minus what 3. So I have to solve what the equation. All right, let's look at this. It's not different from what we have been doing. So what we should do for this particular case is just to what? Cross what? Multiply. If we cross multiply, then we have n minus 3 into n minus 3 equal to what? 4. Now, if we open the brackets, we have n times n, that's n squared. N times 3, that's minus 3n. Minus 3 times n is minus 3n. Minus minus is plus. Then 3 times 3 will give us 9, equal to what? 4. So this one gives us n squared minus 6n plus 9 equal to 4. We transfer the 4 across the equality. We transfer the 4 across the equality. Becomes minus 4. So we have equal to what? 0. So this one will give us n squared minus 6n minus 5. Okay, that's plus 5 now, equal to 0. So the same thing we did previously for trinomials. We look for two numbers that you multiply to get plus 5. And when you add, you get minus what? 6. Because the coefficient here is 1. The two numbers you can use is 5 and what? 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Okay, then minus 5 times minus 5 times minus 1 is plus 5. Then minus 5 plus minus 1 gives what? Minus 6. So now we split this one now. We just put two brackets like we did what previously. So we have minus 5 here, then minus 1. So we have n and n. Now for n minus 5 equal to 0, that implies n will be equal to 5. Then for n minus 1 equal to 0, that implies n will be equal to 1. So the two answers we have here are n equal to 5 or 1. That is the solution for this particular equation. Like I said, these things are not what difficult. If you followed everything we have been doing from the beginning, then you see that these things are all straightforward. Just ensure you go back and look through everything we have done since we started this particular topic, algebra. Okay, let's quickly look at example 3. As a solve the equation, we have 4 all over w plus 3 minus 3 all over w plus 2 equal to 0. Now we have something like this. What I need to do in this case, I'll transfer this one across the equality. If I transfer that across the equality, then I have 4 over w plus 3 equals 3 all over w plus 2. The minus sign becomes plus because it has crossed the equality sign. So at this point, we can cross multiply. If we cross multiply, we have this 4 multiplying w plus 2. Then we have this 3 multiplying w plus 3. Now when we open the bracket there, when we open the brackets, what we have becomes this 4 multiplying w, that will give 4w, then 4 multiplying 2, that will give 8, equal to 3 times w, that will give 3w, Then 3 times 3, that will give what? 9. Now we collect the like terms. We transfer the 3w across the equality. So we have 4w minus 3w equals 9 minus what? 8. This is plus 8. It crosses the sign of equality, becomes minus what? 8. So 4w minus 3w, that will give w. And 9 minus 8 will give what? 1. So the solution to that is what? W equal to what? 1. So this is what is done under the equations with fractions under what? Algebra. Now the last thing we need to look at is what is called undefined what? Fractions. Undefined fractions in what? Algebra. Now sometimes you see it as undefined fractions, sometimes you say not what? Defined. Let's see undefined what? Fractions. Undefined what? Fractions. So that is what? Undefined, or there is the word not what? Defined. It means the same thing. It means the same thing. So whether you see not defined or you see what? Undefined, they are talking about the same thing. Take for example, it says, this question says find the value of what? X. Find the value of x. Find the value of x for which? For which the following expressions are undefined. The first one you have is 3x plus 2 all over x plus what? 7. Now when you have something like this, undefined fraction, what you simply just do is that you work on the what? The denominator only. You work on the denominator, you get what? The answer. So what I will do is I will equate the denominator to what? 0. I will equate the denominator to 0. So if I equate the denominator to 0, that implies x becomes what? Minus what? 7. So for the first one, for this expression to be undefined, x has to be what? Minus what? 7. So this is what is done for undefined what? Fraction. So anytime you hear the word undefined fraction, what you are simply asked to do is just to get the value of any of the variables in the what? Denominator. So let's look at this one. We have x into x plus 2. Now for this one to be undefined, I equate the denominator again towards 0. I equate the denominator towards 0. If I equate the denominator to 0, so what I have is x first will be equal to 0. Then x plus 2 equal to 0, which also implies x will be minus what? 2. And when you transfer the plus 2 across the equality, it becomes minus 2. So for this expression to be undefined, x has to be 0 or minus what? 2. This is what is done for undefined what? Fraction. So anytime you hear the word undefined fraction, just know you have to find the value of the variable in the word denominator. Let's take a look at one more example. You have 7x squared all over x plus 1, then x minus what? 1. The same thing we did previously is what we are going to do. So what I'll just do here, I'll let the denominator now, x plus 1, x minus 1 equal to what? 0. Then for x plus 1 equal to 0, for x plus 1 equal to 0, it implies x will be what? Minus what? 1. That's transfer the plus 1 across the equality, you get what? Minus 1. Then for x minus 1 equal to 0, transfer the minus 1 across the equality, we get x equal to what? 1. So for this expression to be undefined, then what we just have is x will be minus 1 or 1. That is what makes that expression undefined. So like I said from the beginning of this class, algebra is not something difficult, it's not something you cannot do. Now, I'm sure you have learned a lot of things in this topic. So if you've learned something today, ensure you hit the subscribe button. Ensure you like this video, share this video to your friends, and recommend this page to any of your friends preparing to write the GCSE, the IGCSE, the GRE, the GMAT, the SAT, the JAMB, the WAEC, or the NECO exam, and similar examinations. Now that you have learned this one today, ensure you share this video to friends so that they too can learn something from this particular video. Now we have other videos which you can see. You can see one of them up here. Ensure you take a look at that. If you have not watched that particular video, it's on polygons. Everything you need to know about polygons is in this particular video. Okay? Ensure you take a look at that video. Share that video with your friends and relatives. I'll see you in our next class.